What's up guys, Cloudy Journey here, and I got a new haul for you.
You can sound the alarm, you can call out your guards, you can fence in your yard, you can hold all the cards, but I won't back down. Oh no, I won't.
This is gonna be a bit of a mix. I got a few books from my shop. I got some stuff. I went on vacation to a city called Kelowna lately, so I hit up a couple shops there and got a couple items. Just sort of a random hodgepodge. So quickly I'll get into this. This is the Spider-Man Chronicle. It's sort of 50 years overview of Spider-Man's life through all different publications within Marvel. So it goes through like the first 100 Amazing Spider-Man issues. It goes through the early stages, sort of some of the strange tales in the early books that showed as they were experimenting with like different spider characters. Everything goes on in the future, all the different series, different creators, authors, writers, artists, all that. So really fascinating sort of book that just goes through basically everything that is Marvel Spider-Man in the comics world. So really great book. I got this for 25 bucks. My store has this big trades bin, and I don't know if you get stuff traded in or what, but everything in there is always half price, whatever it is on the back there. So I got this for 25 bucks, so I was very happy with that. At the end of the video, I'll go through it really quick and just show some stuff. This is a book I got a couple weeks back. I just wanted to show it off quickly. I've always been a big Archie fan. That was like the main comic book I read as a kid. I always had the double digest and all that. So excited to find this. This is the normal Fiona Staples cover. This it came with like there's one of these like 20-30 variant covers. But I like this one the best. I'm a huge Fiona Staples fan, so happy to find this. And this one is I wanted to show it off because this one has been going up in value. If you can find it around, this is like a $20 to $30 book now on eBay. So, and it was a great series at the beginning. I liked how it started. So Mark Waid and Fiona Staples, just one of those killer creative teams. Even if I wasn't into Archie, I probably would have got this. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 27 from the IDW series. So I had this before and I sold off a bunch of these books. Beautiful Mateus Santaluco cover. And I bought this one because the piece of original art I have from this series is in this issue. So I wanted to get a copy of it so I could see the colored version as well as the black and white that I have of the original art. So maybe I'll do a comparison real quickly after too to show the differences. So in Kelowna, all the stores did the classic where they charge twice as much, or the price tag is twice as much as it costs because they say everything is 50% off. So that always bothers me because you see like $10 comics and it just seems ridiculously overpriced. But and you got to do so much math. Maybe that's the point. They can confuse you, or maybe it keeps people from trying to negotiate too much because you're already getting 50% off. So why would you want 60% off? That's just greedy. But this is Batman 417. So this is the first KG Beast, who I guess there was some movie speculation or something for a while. But beautiful. I think it's a Starlin cover. So this whole series has some really cool covers. So this is my second copy of it, but it was crisp, near mint. So much higher grade than the one I had before. So this was like a $15 or $20 book for a while. I don't know what it's going for now. Maybe it's cooled down quite a bit. I got this from my local shop. This is Amazing Spider-Man 568. So this was a 50-50 variant. I think it's a David Finch cover. It looks like Alex Ross, but I'm pretty sure it's David Finch. Really high grade. There's like one tiny little tick here. Also autographed by Dan Slott, who, if you've watched my videos, I'm not a huge Dan Slott fan. I'm not against him by any means, but I'm just ready for him to move on. But excited to have this. This is my second copy of this, but this one's really crisp and nice. And that was just cover price, so excited to have these. This is Spectacular Spider-Man number 1 of the magazine series. So as you can see, there's like a huge chunk missing. There's also the whole back cover is missing. I got this for it was $3 from my local shop. I was actually thinking it's the first black and white Spider-Man comic ever printed. And I was thinking of maybe using it to do some sort of art project, like cutting it up or ripping it. I really like the story. It's sort of the classic Stan Lee, John Romita style. So really great story. Also, I think this painted style was the first time they ever did anything like that. They kind of wanted the book to stand out and look a little different. So it was sort of a major thing. See, I got all this information from my wonderful, amazing Spider-Man Chronicle book. So lots of good information in there. But cool story. First and last, I guess, appearance of, oh, I can't remember his name now. He's the robot man in the story. Really hilarious, ridiculous politician villain in this, though. Worth a read if you can find it for cheap, like I did. And yeah, I don't know. I was thinking maybe these my short boxes I could paper mache. Okay, let's get in some good stuff. Well, I'll show one more quick little variant. Picked up this one. I already have the other cover of this, but I think this was the end. I think it's Batman 42. I don't even know if the number's written on there. I think it's the end of the maybe it's 41. It's the end of the Endgame storyline. So the main cover, the Capullo cover, was really cool, but then this one was also really good. So it's been sitting on my store's shelf for a while, so I just grabbed it because I really like it. It's sort of a throwback to the original Batman movie. All right, let's show off some good stuff here, exciting stuff. So in Kelowna, I went to 3 different stores. The first one was like a used bookstore. They had tons of back issues for fairly good prices. But when I got in there was 2 guys hunting through them already. And she said she had a few books kind of behind, which was some of the older stuff. So I picked up a few Swamp Thing books and also the Silver Surfer #1 from Volume 2, which is just a beautiful cover as well. I really like it. Yeah, so I didn't find too much in the back issues, but she did have this book. This is Uncanny X-Men 129. I don't know why this wasn't on my list. It's a book I recently put on my list, which for some reason I totally missed it. But this is the first appearance of Kitty Pryde as well as Emma Frost. So also awesome book from the Claremont run with the classic giant size team, which I love. Beautiful colors, like classic bronze. This might be Copper Age, but it has the Bronze Age look to me. But really beautiful book, really nice high grade as well. You can't really see it on here, but like along the edge, it's sort of curled over. So if you guys have seen your books, have done that before, but really nice shape. And I got this for $50 Canadian. That's probably like $40 American. So really happy with that price. So one of the 2 guys who was hunting through the back issues, we got to talking a little bit, and he was very nice and said, hey man, I know there's another shop. They're actually looking at closing down. They've been trying to clear out some of the merchandise. Come check it out. So he said I could follow him, and we went and he showed me this spot, which basically what I did was I went into the city. I went on Google Maps and I just looked up comic shops, and then I sort of marked down some that are close that I could go by that look good. So this one actually wasn't on that because it didn't have comics in the name or whatever, so I never would have found this place. So it was a tiny little shop, had a bunch of cars and different things as well, and other like sports memorabilia, and just ice cold. The guy had the AC blaring. He was a bigger guy. That's also where I got this KG Beast book, so yeah, excited about that. But he also had a few early Daredevils, so I was able to grab this, which I'm super stoked on. Purple Man, I think, is one of Daredevil's absolute legit villains. Totally different sort of style of a villain than just a big monster or a big robot or whatever. Really, I think he's got some really neat characteristics to him and some great stories. The Mark Waid story I really enjoyed, where if you don't know, Purple Man, his ability is basically he just speaks the word and you will obey. He's in control. Over the years, the Purple Man has hooked up with many women because he can just demand whoever he wants, and they've been impregnated. So in the Mark Waid story, he goes and he's collecting all these children, and they're sort of like the children of the corn. They have his powers, but they're strong when they're together, but they're still children. So it's a really great story. But awesome to have an early Yellow Suit Daredevil book too, which is obviously incredible. There is an issue, this hole right here, so that kind of sucks, and it's pretty chippy around and stuff, so fairly low grade, but I've never seen one of these around in the wild, like locally. I've only seen them online, so for me, I was happy to get it, and he had it marked at 65. I offered 50, and he took that, so yeah, I was pretty pumped on that. I think that's a great price for this book, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. All right, so just want to pause real quick to show off this sweet Transformer I got. I think this is from 2003 or 2004, so one of the early ones. But it's Starscream, and I can actually transform this one. I got my son the Bumblebee from, I don't know, I just found it at a thrift store for like $5. But I cannot transform that thing. My wife has to do it because my son can't because he's 3, and I can't because I'm an idiot. But this one I can do. It just takes me a little while, but really, really sweet. Sort of has more of the classic look, which I like, and it's a little more simplistic, which I like. I love that Bumblebee character, so I was happy to have that one for my son. But this is really sweet too, and my son was just going nuts today when I brought this in. So I made a good purchase there. This is just from a garage sale I got for $5. But yeah, sorry if you guys are not into toys. I'm sorry, but pretty dope. Never really been a huge Transformers guy, but my son like loves it, so I'm starting to get into it a bit more. Okay, so the third store I went to was just the most disorganized, crappy store I've ever seen in my life. The guy had tons of comics, well, more toys and things like that, lots of like D&D, board games, that kind of thing. But he did have like a rack of the most random shit ever, like random dollar bin all in his rack, and then he had a few long boxes with stuff that was just from all over, a bunch of anime and stuff like that too, and just junk. And I found 2 books I wanted. I found Scarlet Spider #1 of the like Ben Reilly series, which he wanted $6 for, and I said I didn't want to pay that. And then I found Howard the Duck meets Lobo, the Amalgam book, and it had a signature on it with like a certificate of authenticity on the back. He has stacks of comics like all over the store, total mess, like giant boxes of board games just falling on the floor, and he doesn't even like bother to pick them up and fix them. Like it looked like a disgusting child's bedroom. And I've been to some like messy, disorganized stores before, but it wasn't just that it was disorganized. It was like there was just a garbage dump of nerd stuff. And so I'm like assuming all the comics are gonna be like $1 because they're all crap books, like just 90s stuff and so much junk. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll be willing to pay $2 or $3 if he really wants to. So I'm like, how much do you want for the comics? Oh, well, you got to bring them up and I'll price them for you. I'm like, okay, well, I'm interested in these 2. Oh, this one's autographed and has certificates, so that's got to be at least like 30, right? I'm like, well, like autographs are kind of a dime a dozen. They don't really put the value up unless it's someone really well known. And he's like, oh, well, if you don't want to pay that, that's fine. This is after I sorted through like 40 minutes of these crappy comics and found 2 books I wanted. And he's like, and this one is $6, it says. So I'm like, well, I don't really care that much, so I don't want to pay $6 for that, especially after the attitude. But I did find these 2 on the rack, so thanks to Mercenaut's video, I knew this was kind of a hot book. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, of all the crap, he had these 2 in like pristine condition in the middle of it. So it was so out of place. So I was like, oh, sweet, that's the cover that everybody likes. I looked it up on eBay, and that was the one. So I thought, great, I'll buy them for cover price and keep one, flip one, whatever. And then so I'm like, I'm showing this guy, like, sorry, buddy, try to screw me over. So I get home, and I realize this is green. And in the first print, this is red. So this is actually a 5th print. So he, in the end, beat me, I guess. Although I have seen a couple of these because the 5th print's pretty rare. A couple of them have sold for like $10. So I could still make $5 back or whatever on it if I really want to. But I did give it a read. It was okay. But super mint, nice books. But there you go, trying to play the game too much, and sometimes you get screwed. So little lesson learned. Okay, so here's a quick closer look of the Spider-Man Chronicle. It comes with like this cardboard cover, and it comes with this sort of a signed print by the artist. So the artist is John Tyler Christopher. It's got sort of that realistic face style. Yeah, there's a forward by Stan Lee in here, as he tends to do, sort of throwing out his bullshit that he does. The thing with Stan Lee, you gotta you understand with Stan Lee is that he's just like a bullshitter. The reason he was so great at making comics is because he's a great storyteller. He loves to sensationalize build things up. And like nothing against the guy. He just, I think when he doesn't know some, he just fills in the blanks with whatever he feels like at the time. So you get some hilarious different takes on the same story from him. Things about him like inventing Thor or whatever. Not like he seems to be totally oblivious to all these things that about Norse mythology that he clearly took and claims that they're his and different things like that. So I like Stan Lee. I'm a big Stan Lee fan, but I don't always take his word as absolute truth. So yeah, it goes through all the different issues and everything. There's this book I picked up, that Spectacular Spider-Man. Some of the storylines about that. It talks about different characters that show up, crossovers, major things that happen. So obviously in the first while it's mostly Amazing Spider-Man. But you can see like Marvel Team Up had begun. And then as you get later on, he'll talk about like when he crosses into other books and some of the significance of those. But yeah, great art, video games, McFarlane run there. Yeah, so it goes into the different highlights. I think as it gets later on in the book, it doesn't go through each specific issue. Just sort of some of the major points. But it's not just an Amazing Spider-Man book. It covers all the series. So yeah, a really nice resource to have as a Spider-Man collector. This was the book I had in my hand that he wanted $6 for. I like Ben Reilly. I thought he was a good character. There's Stan the Man. Just, he had a bad introduction. Spider-Girl, yeah, they talk about a lot of the crossovers and stuff as well. Different characters. But yeah, different artists as they came through. I think they go into Ultimate Spider-Man. Just now finally ending. Marvel Knights. Some of the events, Civil War, Marvel Zombies. Yeah, so pretty neat resource. Miles Morales. Table of contents. Okay, so here is my original art piece by Matteo Santaluco. Always glad to show it off. It's from Ninja Turtles 27, page 17. So you can see it is with color. They added this Wump lettering. Kachum was already there. They really brightened it up with colors, even though I think in the black and white it looks really good as like a dark scene. I like how the fire here is turned into the lettering. Turtles kicking ass, Donatello doing his thing. So yeah, you can see there. Yeah, so that's that. All right, guys, well, that's going to be it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Stay classy.